The 16th President of the United States made a declaration in the year 1863, and the declaration is to stop slavery and liberate all slaves, but because the Union Army has not to visit Louisiana, slavery continues there, and the African slaves are waiting for the day they will be delivered by the Union Army. While slavery continues, there is a black-skinned man by the name of Peter. While he is with his family, some white men came to enslave him. He tries his possible best to fight them, but he had to stop and obey them because a gun has been pointed at his wife to kill her. He was taken away by the white men to work as a slave, but while he was going, he promised his family that he is going to come back for them. After spending 2 weeks on the road, Peter, together with other captured slaves, was brought to a railway construction site where they are going to be working as a slave. On getting to the entrance of the site, they spot some heads hanging, symbolizing the punishment and result of disobedience in the site. Peter is still having an unbending faith that he is going to go back to his family one day. He refuses to conform to the things that are going on around him. Peter is a good man with a good heart. He is merciful to everyone around him. Peter is a man that is as brave as a lion and can be willing to confront anyone no matter the status of that person. One day, one of his slave mates was flogged because he was unable to carry a given load. Peter was very angry and willing to help his friend, but he was restricted by one of the white men who happens to be the person in charge, the captain. Despite everything that is going on in the railway construction and slavery site, Peter, who is a Christian with a God-fearing heart, tried to comfort other slaves like him who are prisoner to fear, pain, and depression. He tells them that if they believe in God, they will soon be free one day. Most of them refuse to believe what he was saying, including Thomas, Peter's friend. But as Peter continues in what he believes, his ascending belief increases day by day, and this convinces some other slaves. After a while, his strong faith has been noticed by the one in charge of the railway construction and slavery site, Captain John Thomas. John Thomas approaches him one day to tell him that he will soon become his dog. Brave Peter replies by saying that he will gratefully appreciate that if he will offer him the same food he offers to his pet. Peter's reply is very troublesome, and this gets him angry to the extent that he commands Peter to be tied down for him to subdue and trampled over him. While Peter was still there, a piece of news was brought to him about the Declaration of Freedom to all slaves by the president at that time, but yet they are not set free. Peter realizes that this is an opportunity for him to escape from slavery and to be able to see his family once again as he has promised. He informs other slaves about this opportunity, including his beloved friend, Thomas. They all plan together and investigate what they can do. And it will cost them 4 days to risk their lives for the mission because they are going to pass through the largest swamp in the country where several snakes and crocodiles and other wild animals stays. During the next day, Peter was forced to bury other slaves that refused to conform or obey the instruction of their enslaver. Just in a moment, Peter is about to do what he was asked to do even though he is not willing to obey in his heart. A great explosion occurs, and this explosion captivates the attention of others, including all the white men in front of Peter. Peter realizes that what happens is just an opportunity for him to escape. He attacked the white men in front of him and managed to escape from them. Other slaves also take very good advantage of the opportunity to run away, and some of them can escape from gunshots and John Thomas's dogs. However, while all the slaves try to escape, fortunately, it was only 4 slaves, Peter, Thomas, and 2 others were able to escape into the jungle. In the jungle, the 4 slaves suffer a lot at the hand of wild animals, snakes, crocodiles, and their hunters. While Thomas is trying to escape and run through the swamp, he got bitten by John Thomas's dogs. This makes him get weak, and he was caught by John Thomas. But John Thomas tells him to reveal to him where other slaves are hiding so that he will spare him. Out of fear and weakness, Thomas, who is in pain, exposes the hideout of another slave to him, and he was given his freedom by John Thomas. But on the other hand, after getting his freedom, he manages to swim through the swamp to cross to the other side, but he was killed by the crocodile in the swamp. However, on the other hand, other slaves planned and decide to divide themselves and other to confront the swamp before them individually so that they will not be caught together. Peter, who has been striving to survive because he has been wounded, manages to escape. On his way, he spotted a building, and he tries to enter the building so that he can treat himself and rest for a little time. While he was doing all of this, a young girl spotted him. She happens to be one of the relatives of John Thomas. She informed her relative about what she had seen. Getting this information, the hunters arrived to capture Peter, but before then, Peter had realized, so he had no option but to run away and hide in the swamp. But when he gets into the swamp, he was attacked by the crocodile in the swamp. He tries to fight the crocodile in the swamp, but this could be the end for him. Meanwhile, Peter's wife, who has been worrying about the condition Peter might be in, she got up to pray for her husband, Peter, so that he will be able to come back as he promised them when he was about to leave. She also encourages her children not to worry about their father, Peter, because she believes that he is going to be back very soon. However, at night, Peter was able to kill the crocodile, and he managed to escape from the swamp to a large tree. The hunter was able to find the dead body of the crocodile, and they feed on it that night. While they were eating the crocodile, John Thomas shared his real-life story. After escaping from the crocodile, Peter was able to spot a hut, as, at that moment, the hut seems to be a blessing to him. Because when he entered the hut, he was able to find some foods and water that are left over there. Even though he had no idea how those food get inside an hut, he make use of that opportunity to treat his wound. After treating himself, he managed to feed on the food he met in the hut. After eating, the hunter spotted the flames and the smoke that came from the food Peter was cooking. Anyways, the hunters traced the smoke to find its source of it. But before they could get to him, Peter find a boat and he flee away from there. On the other hand, Peter's wife realizes that she has been sold into slavery, but she did not want to get into slavery because of her children, so to stop this, she decides to harm herself so that she will not be sent into slavery anymore because according to the custom as at that time, white men did not use to buy a slave that is not healthy. Peter, on the other hand, while going on his way, meets one of the slaves that escaped when they all run away. They try to bathe with onions so that the dogs will not be able to trace them, but while they are trying to do this, they hear the dogs backing close to them so they have to run away. While they are running, John Thomas spots the other escaped slaves and shot them. Peter hides when they are removing the slave head even though he is not pleased. After all that has happened, Peter manages to escape, then he spots a building burning. The building is burning because it is a place where Abraham Lincoln's Declaration has been put into place because of the drastic slavery that is going on. Peter enters the house and finds a lot of food. He eats out of the food he found in that house, and while he was eating he hears a sound when he tries to find out what the sound is. He found an African American girl, but before he could help, the girl was shot by one of the hunters. Peter had to run to escape from them. At night, Peter reaches a river bank and thought he is safe now until he heard some noise. He tries to run away, but while he is running he meets John face to face. Meeting Peter face to face gives John so much joy and pride because he thought that he will be able to finish him there. But while he is about to pull the trigger to kill him, someone does that first before him. John Thomas died and fall on the arm of Peter. Peter stands up only to find out that he is saved by one man who has been facing the same challenges he is facing, but after seeing them, Peter faints. When he wakes up he finds himself with some military men. He gains his freedom and joins hands together with them to stop slavery all around the community. When he is done, he went back to his family to meet all his family members again as he has promised them. And that was how slavery was stopped.